Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. We're back. It's the Discord call-in. Links in the video description. Get yourself set up on Discord. Get in the call-in queues. And we'll be taking some of your calls in a few minutes. But first off, let's talk about Mauricio Pochettino, who's dropped a big hint, some would say, in relation to potentially being the next Manchester United manager. So let me read out what's basically been said by Pochettino and then we'll interpret it. He says that if we want to win titles, we have to operate in a different way. Now, the way I interpret that is I want to win titles and this club doesn't operate in the way that allows me to do that, i.e. Spurs. So his words are, if we want to win titles, we have to operate in a different way. I would interpret it like many other people have interpreted it tonight. He's saying, I want to win titles, but I can't do it at Spurs because they don't spend any bloody money. We had Jose Mourinho in the summer saying things along the way about how he didn't get to spend enough money in the summer. Spurs didn't spend any money in the summer and they probably won't spend any money in January. However, for the last 3 or 4 years now, Pochettino has had Spurs sort of knocking on the door of a title run, but they always fall short because he hasn't really got the squad depth. He has spent money in the past, but he uses a lot of development players as well. He's working miracles, basically, Pochettino, and he isn't getting rewarded with the money. And he is one of the most sought-after managers. Madrid looked at him after Zidane. United are obviously looking at him right now. He knows that his position is a very attractive one as a manager. I think it's a very clever thing that he said. He's basically saying to Spurs, spend money or I will go. Will Spurs ever spend a lot of money? I don't really know. I'm not a Spurs fan, but I think what he is saying is, look, I could be winning titles if I was allowed to spend money, but I don't get to spend money. Obviously, Spurs have just been building a stadium. It's taken a long time, a very, very long time, and it's still not built, but I suppose they would hide behind that. Arsenal certainly didn't spend a lot of money when they were building theirs, but Spurs have never spent that much. And I think what Pochettino's doing personally, and it's only an opinion, I think he's manoeuvring. He's keeping himself in the spotlight. I think Ollie's had a very, very good start to his Manchester United career. He plays Spurs at the weekend, and I think he's looked at that situation and gone, look, I need to make sure in these early days, before United start focusing on Ollie and whether he can do the job, I just want to let them know that here I am and I would like it. Because United will spend money. We will spend money, definitely. We'll spend even more money if we're not in the Champions League because we always go big, and we always go big when it's a new manager as well. So Pochettino is probably looking at that United job and thinking, you know what, I could go to United, I can inherit Pogba and Rashford and Martial and De Gea, and I'll get money to spend as well. Yabba dabba do. So I think Pochettino is... I don't think he's made his mind up that he's coming to United, but I certainly think that he does want to be considered for that position at Manchester United with regards to that. Very interesting. Just wanted to make people feel a little bit positive on this Monday night. I appreciate a lot of you being back at work and school and university and all that lot. Just think, you're one day closer to Christmas this year. But no, seriously, you've got through day one. It will get easier. But Manchester United play Spurs on Sunday. What a game that's going to be. I'm doing a watch-along on That's Football tomorrow night, actually, at this time, Chelsea versus Spurs. Bit of a scouting mission and a bit of just watching a big game. So you can join me for that tomorrow night on That's Football. But after we've played Spurs, we got Brighton and Burnley at home and then Leicester and Fulham away. So, look, I think we've got to beat Spurs. But even if we didn't, if we can win those 4 like we've won the previous 4, it could still put us in a very, very healthy situation. But this is something else. I want you to call in and talk about your next manager, Pochettino, what your thoughts are on that. Mario says that he's talking about Vidic. Odin says he really doesn't want Pochettino. Karil says put aside paying 50 million, which is a good point about Pochettino. How is he better than Zidane? Isn't Zidane a better choice? Can you enlighten me? Karil, I agree with you. I'm a Zidane muncher. I want him. That makes me sound like I want to eat Zidane off. But no, I bite on Zidane's Mars bar rather than... I'm getting even bloody worse now. I would rather have Zidane over Pochettino. I like them both. I do. But I prefer Zidane. And I've always been honest about that. I like the fact that he's a world-class player and he can demand respect in the dressing room. And I think... all right, people will say, well, it's Ronaldo, but look at Real Madrid. All that's changed at Real Madrid is Zidane's left and Ronaldo's left, and they're a bloody shambles. They've still got, for me, the best midfield 3 in the world with Kroos, Modric and Casemiro. They've still got the best centre-backs in the world with Ramos and Varane, and they cannot win games. Because you know what? We've dodged a bullet with Gareth Bale. He ain't that good. He isn't that good. And I'm glad that we didn't get him, and I hope we never do get him. I don't think he's that good. But What Zidane is very, very good. Now, obviously, part of it would be to do with Ronaldo, but you know what? It's more to do with Zidane, because Ronaldo was very, very good at Real Madrid, but anybody who watches Ronaldo will know that Ronaldo, for the last couple of years, has been good based on what goes on around him. Not in the sense that, like Lukaku, you know, if you give him a tap in, he'll score. Ronaldo is still absolutely world class. You know, he's universal class, but he can't pick the ball up on the halfway line and run past 4 or 5 players. He's not like Messi. That, you know, he's moved on from that. He needs good service. So all they've done is remove Ronaldo. That doesn't cost Real Madrid what it's costing them. Zidane's a massive part of Real Madrid's success. 3 back-to-back Champions League. It's an absolute myth that people say, oh, it's because he was at Real Madrid. He's a very, very good manager. But I'd be happy with Zidane or Poch. And I still cling to the dream that Ollie's going to produce a miracle and be given the job. But to be honest with you, like Soph says last night, part of me does think that we should be looking at Pochettino and Zidane, and I would be very, very happy with either of those two. Really, really happy. Evening to all those who are joining us. Remember to smash a like on the video. There's a few people not happy with Pochettino dropping a Manchester United job hint. I don't really get that. I don't really get that at all. Coutinho's not going to happen, Ruben. I'm not even going to waste any time on an ex-Liverpool player. And Poch is a bottler, says Nick Hill. Well, maybe not. I'll tell you what I wanted to talk about just before I start taking some of your calls, because I do want to do that. I'm going to be a little bit controversial, I suppose, here. And it's not. I am very happy with the situation at United. Very happy. I love that picture in Dubai with Martial, Rashford and Lingard sat around Ollie, giving them some instructions. You know, it's like the old Jedi Master with his Padwans, isn't it? You know, teaching them the ways of the Force, which I absolutely loved. And there's so much positivity. But I tell you what, we're wallpapering cracks. We are wallpapering cracks with Ollie. And he can only do so much. And I must keep saying this. This is in no way am I criticising Ole Gunnar Solskjær. I think he's doing a fantastic job. A job that in many ways is beyond his experience massively. He's been brought in to bring positivity around the club. And there is positivity around the club. But I do feel personally that I am starting to feel the honeymoon is over. And I'm starting to get back to reality of some of the problems that were at the club beyond Mourinho. I.e., this is the January transfer window. What are we doing? I'm hearing things like we might only sign one player. We can't get the players that we want. What a crock of shit. What a load of rubbish. Manchester United can make signings this transfer window. They must use this transfer window. There is no bloody excuse. Chelsea are ahead of us. They've got 6 points on us. And they've got a new manager in place that they know is going to be their manager for a while. They've got a philosophy in place. They've already got very, very good players, so have we. But they've just bought Pulisic. They're looking at Lozano and they're after Barella, who I think we should go for. I did the video at lunchtime. If you don't know who he is, you can go and watch that in a bit. But they're being aggressive in the transfer market, Chelsea. They're also doing my other favourite 2 things about the transfer window. Aggressive and ruthless. So they're being aggressive going getting players. They're being ruthless as well. Fabregas has been let go because they are ruthless. He is a player over 30 who wants a 2-year contract and they only give out 1 year and he can get 2 years elsewhere. So they're ruthless. They're saying, off you go, mate. We'll go and get somebody else. Probably Barella. That's Chelsea, who are already ahead of us. This is nothing to do with Ollie. This is to do with upstairs. Because upstairs is still potentially a problem, and we should remember that. We shouldn't all fall into the positivity pool of Ole Gunnar Solskjær and what he's doing, the nostalgia, the feel-good factor. There are still massive problems at Manchester United. And it would irritate me a lot if we don't use this transfer window. It is not an excuse for Manchester United to say, well, we wanted Koulibaly, but he cost too much money. You know, we want Manlas, but we got to wait till the summer. Load of nonsense. Load of nonsense to be in a January transfer window and coming out with lines like that. As Ollie said himself, as anybody with a brain knows themselves, these transfer windows are planned months, weeks in advance. Who are our targets in January and what are we going to do? We cannot afford to waste a transfer window for many reasons. For one, Chelsea are a team we want to finish above. They're making moves and they've got points on us. For two, it's a transfer window. It's a bloody transfer window. It's 31 days to do some bloody business. It doesn't matter if it's in the middle of the season. If you wait till the summer, you can't do all the business. It's a bonus 31 days. Like, we'll run out of time in the summer window again. We won't get rid of all the deadwood and we won't get everyone we need. So we'll go into another season haphazard again, because we won't be ready, because we won't have had enough time to do everything. Use the January transfer window. Be aggressive, be ruthless. Be ruthless and get rid of a couple of players. Be aggressive and get a couple of players in. I don't know what anyone else feels, but I really do feel that. You know, I think I'm really happy with what we're doing. I'm really happy that Mourinho's gone. And this isn't nothing to do with Ollie. Ollie's working with the squad that he's got. That's his job. I don't think he's massively involved in transfers, but the people upstairs are. And I'm not. I just worried. Are they pulling the wool over our eyes? Oh look, we've given you Ollie. Let's keep playing little clips from '99. Everybody happy again? Yeah. And behind the scenes, they're like, phew, we've fobbed them off for a few months. We don't have to spend any more money. Get the bloody checkbook out. Come on, let's keep the momentum going. It's not to say that they're not going to, but I think it's very important that we do. Nicholas Please says, Mark, last year you taught me not to lower my standards and settle for second best. We need to sign Koulibaly if we want to play catch-up football, yeah. If anyone watched my FIFA stream this afternoon, you'll know what he's on about. Mark, Tyson Marley says, Mark, what do you think of the Twitter account, Mike LUHG? Man's full of negative agenda, shitting on Ollie and the players, Mourinho burner. I've heard of the Twitter account. He's had a shout out. I think it's on my block list. I think he's had a pop at me in the past, which means he's a prick. But in all seriousness, there are still some remnants of the empire out there who stick by Darth Mourinho. The writing's on the wall with that. Let him play with his mask, and let him be Kylo Ren. They're always going to be a B-Tech version. It's irrelevant. He's sacked. He's not coming back. Let him criticise the current regime. The reality is they're not getting Mourinho back. Jog on. Seriously. Mourinho would have saved us. Yeah, you see, there's always one. Anyway, I want to take some of your calls. Link is in the video description for the Discord. You need to get yourselves in the call-in queues if you want to be on the show. And we've got some people waiting to come on the show already. So let's give someone a go on the United Stand. Hello, can you hear me? You're live on the United Stand.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're with us. What do you want to talk about, pal?
Yeah, I want to talk about the next coach, and I think it should be Julian Nagelsmann.
The Southampton coach, yeah?
No, not Southampton coach, Hoffenheim coach.
Oh, right, yeah, I'm getting it. There's so many of these young German coaches around at the moment, and I must agree with you, they're very exciting. I mean, I think Klopp is sort of the trendsetter with this, but yeah, I know you're on about it's passion, it's that high intensity press.
No. It's not passion. He is very good. RB Leipzig he's going to join RB Leipzig next season. Pre-contract talks, but we can change his mind if we offer him good. But he's actually, I don't understand why people say Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe is the not most overrated, but is kind of overrated because he is British, and I think you are British, Mark, and I think you rate him because of that also. But
no, you're wrong. I am British, but I don't rate Eddie Howe as Manchester United manager.
Yeah, okay. But you promote him, I want to say.
I do not. I think you're watching another channel. I don't want Eddie Howe. I've always said that Eddie Howe has done a fantastic job at Bournemouth, but Manchester United manager, no, it would swallow him up.
Yeah,
he's not ready for that.
Yeah, you kind of favor him. Yeah, everyone says Bournemouth hasn't spent any, but compared to other lower league clubs, Bournemouth has spent a lot of money. They have spent 19 million on Solanke. Can you believe?
Yeah, you're right.
eBay, Liverpool. They have spent a lot of money compared to Brighton and Newcastle and these types. He should be doing better.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't rate him.
I don't want him anyway. So, what about Pochettino?
Yeah, what that Nagelsmann has done is that Hoffenheim were nearly fighting for relegation. Now he has take them to the Champions League qualification in 2 seasons in a row, and he was fighting toe to toe with Hoffenheim with Manchester City. Can you believe that?
Well, so the Leicester manager beat them.
Who's the Leicester manager?
Poyel.
No. He's not that much good.
Crystal Palace, but they beat them. Roy Hodgson.
No.
Tell me what you think about Pochettino. What's your thoughts on him?
Most rated manager in the Europe right now. Even Real Madrid offered him the job, but he rejected it because he didn't want to uproot his family out of the Germany. That's the reason. Maybe he would reject us also, but I think he's a very capable manager.
And finally, what about Zinedine Zidane? Do you think he would be suitable for United, or do you think he's a bit of hype because of Real Madrid?
He's a very good manager. I can't knock that because if you win 3 Champions League in a row, you are not a knobhead. I can guarantee that because and he has promoted little bit of youth.
He is, definitely. Thanks for calling in, pal. It's breaking up a bit, but really thanks for calling in. Really enjoyed it.
Thanks. Okay, nice to go.
Nagelsmann is a passionate manager, but I think we'll move on. Liam, can you hear me? Hello? Next caller. He's on mute. He's now muted his mic. Muted his headphones as well. Doesn't want to come on. Okay, no worries. We'll try someone else. Hello, can you hear me? You're live on the United Stand.
Hello.
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 Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello, you're on the United Stand. What do you want to talk about?
For me, if we're going to talk about who the next coach should be, the 2 clear candidates, obviously, probably Pochettino and Solskjær for me.
Yeah.
I'd reckon between those 2 it should be, just simply because they're the 2 that probably relate the most similar in terms of the identity and how they line up a team and how they play football. I think Zidane might come in, he might change more than what United fans may bargain for, but definitely still a viable option. But for me, the 2 clear candidates should be Pochettino and Solskjær.
I think we're in a great position. I don't know what you think about this, but I think we're in a great position. But I also think we're in a dangerous position because you've got Ollie, and I totally understand why, and I'm quite excited about him having it. You've got, if we take Ollie though, and it goes wrong, we'll be like, oh, we should have had Pochettino and Zidane, and both of which we might never get the chance again. If you get Pochettino, you might be like the same. Why didn't we go for Ollie or Zidane? If you go for Zidane, you're going to be, it's almost like we've got 3 very, very good choices, and if we get that choice wrong, we're always going to wonder what happens with the other 2.
Yeah, definitely. I'd probably say, in terms of if you're going to make this sort of choice, the best thing to do is to let it sort of go on for as long as possible. Like, try not to bite the bullet too early. Trying to make the decision as late as possible, because obviously Solskjær, one of the 3 candidates, is already in charge until the end of the season. So the best thing to do on his behalf and on behalf of the other 2 managers is leaving the decision as late into the season as possible, just so we can get the full insight as to where 3 candidates stand on taking the permanent role of Manchester United manager.
Yeah, and I think that's. I mean, I don't know what you did mention Ole Gunnar Solskjær as Manchester United manager. I mean, is that because it's the ideal situation, or do you actually already see? Because considering we've only had 4 games, and you talk about we should take as long as possible. We can wait till May, and after all these tough games, and see where we are. I mean, if he gets us top 4, good FA Cup run, maybe gets through PSG, he's got to be a strong candidate. Or would you even think just give it him now?
For me, even after all of those games, I'd still hold it until the last, because even if he's lost against those teams but fought very well, and that we can see a great potential in the performances that we put in against the bigger teams, it's about the performance potential. If the performance potential is good against the larger teams, and obviously that would be quite a big ticked in one of the boxes. And I think that's where we've got to be also quite careful, is if obviously the big teams, if we're constantly losing but constant just good performances here and there, if it does come to a point where it's just long term with Solskjær and there's constantly good performances against big teams, but then no wins. And obviously, you'll probably think, well, Pochettino with the Spurs team has pulled out some of these large results, like big wins, out of the bag at times. So it's entirely dependent, really, on how we look about how Solskjær has done by the time the end of the season comes around, really.
And taking it up a level, the second thing I was talking about before I started taking the calls, not really anything to do with Ollie in some ways. The transfer window, I was saying that I feel that we might be having the wool pulled over our eyes, positivity around Ollie, why they spend nothing in January. Will that bother you, or do you think that we should be making some moves in this transfer window and not wasting it?
I think it's not a bad thing if we don't spend in the window. It's not a bad thing because there's still more to play for with this squad, because you might find that some of the guys that may not be performing, you might see over the course of the rest of the season, they might start performing. So I think there's more to see with what players we've got currently, but then at the same time, if we do buy players, then it is just an extra bonus, not just for the rest of the season, but then we're also prepped better for next season also. We've got the funds to do that. It's just whether it is within the board's plans to actually making things happen. So we'll see how it goes from there.
Good points. Thanks for calling in, pal, and please do call in again.
No problem. Thank you, Mark.
Cheers, pal. Sounded like his dinner was ready, to be fair. Let's get another caller on. Jack, can you hear me?
Yo, hello.
Are you doing, pal? You all right?
How's it going? I'm good. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm really good, thanks. Saw you in the queue. Thought I'd pull you in. Anything particular? Yeah, debut. Anything? It's not the first time we've spoke, obviously, but no. Welcome to the Discord, Jack. Anything particular you want to talk about?
So my opinion on is Poch the right man for United? I think he is, but Solskjær so far is doing the right things to be the right manager. He's bringing a new lease of life to United, which is good, because Mourinho pretty much killed the club. So that's a good thing. And I think if he gets a bit more money, like if we gave him a chance, and if he'd done good, so would you keep Solskjær if he'd done the Champions League for us?
If he won it, I think you'd have to. Well, you say you'd have to, but Di Matteo did that, didn't he? You shouldn't compare anything to anything, but I think if he won the Champions League, I'd be 100% give him the job. Yeah, definitely.
Because I was talking with some people earlier on, and about transfers, I saw there's some rumours going around about Manolas, and he's got a 32 million buyout clause. And I was thinking, why are we not going for him? Why is everyone raving about Koulibaly? Because this is me. I follow football, but I've not really heard much of him from like 3 years ago or whatever. But Manolas, I've always heard of him. Like you've known about this player for however long, and I just think if he's going to be 32 mil in the summer, why are we not going for him? And then that saves us so much more money to then get a midfielder or a right winger.
I think it's interesting with.
Going to cost
I think
70 mil to 100.
Yeah, and it's interesting with Manolas, as I said yesterday, that his agent is now Mino Raiola as well. I think we're going to do business with Mino Raiola again, which brings onto the table Lozano, Verratti, and players like that. So, I like Manolas. I mean, a lot of people in the live comments are saying Koulibaly is better. I probably agree, but it's not a massive difference.
I don't see it personally, because Manolas, I feel like in today's market, he's 27 if I'm not wrong, and he's a unit. He's played not top level, but he plays for a decent team. And you never hear really him doing bad or having a year where he's done bad. Koulibaly, I've not really heard much of him over like the past 5 years. It's only really been this year, last year, his name started to crop up a lot, and that's when I've started to look at him and be like, yeah, he's all right. But Manolas, I feel like he'd be a leader, a good leader, and then to have him paired up with Lindelof would help Lindelof grow. Then you've got a nice leader in Manolas sitting there for 32 million as well. It's absolutely cheap. Because Koulibaly, let's say he is better, what's he going to cost? 70 mil? 80 mil? So you're paying easily double the money.
I mean, in the live comments,
it's worth double the money.
There's a lot of people in the live comments saying that there's a massive difference. Look, I've been watching Italian football for a long, long time. There's not a massive amount of difference. And
I didn't think there was, no.
No, and you're right. 3 years ago, we were talking about Manolas 3 years ago on this show. We weren't talking about Koulibaly. So Koulibaly's always been good, and I think he is better at the moment, but I don't think there's a massive amount of difference in it. I also think there's a bit of snobbery as well. It's the same thing when we were linked to Perisic. I can't remember who the other player was, but everyone was like, oh, Perisic is crap. And I was saying, he's not. He's just not the big name that you want. I think people are put off by the price. Oh, he's cheap. He's not good enough. Manolas could be a very good signing.
Yeah, people, because Koulibaly's having an absolute blinder of a season, but I think a lot of people as well, they act like they've got football knowledge, but they base a lot of it on who's team of the week on FIFA. That's how I feel a lot of people see who's a good player. I could be wrong, but
that's how I do. That's how I do. It's a good question here. I'm going to give it you, actually. It's a super chat from LB. He says, if Ollie wins a cup this year, would it be fair to argue he's already done more than Pochettino could, and in much less time? So he's saying, if Ollie wins the FA Cup, should he stay? Is that enough for you, FA Cup?
See, I like the FA Cup, but not a lot of people do. I think it's a very exciting cup to watch, and to me, it's a nice big cup to win. The thing that worries me of Solskjær is he too soft? Like, you want a manager that inspires everyone, which he's been doing so far. Yeah, don't get me wrong, against Reading, we had a bit of a rocky game, but he rotated the team. He tried players that haven't really got much game time. So I wasn't expecting Man United to absolutely thrash it like we did against Cardiff and stuff like that. But if he showed a bit more, that he's got a bit more balls on him, and he didn't, because he looked very soft, like players could push him over quite easily, I feel like. I could be wrong. So if he showed a little bit more guts and stuff like that, I think he could be a really good manager. But to me, he looks quite soft. That's the only concerning thing. Like, he's got no authority to him. But I could be wrong.
I get your opinion on this, and people in the live comments as well. It's a good point, and me and Sophie sort of touched on it a bit last night, but to give a little bit more clarity, if Zidane or Pochettino come in, we're sort of begging them to come to the club. They can agree their terms. They can be like, I'll only take it if you give me this, 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 this. If we give it to Ollie, he's cap in hand. He's like, he's already said it, I desperately want this job. And the board sort of can go, well, we'll give it to you, but only if this, this and this. Where if you get Pochettino or Zidane, it's the other way around. We've got to, and that is a little bit of a worry, because Ollie would probably take this job and they say, you're not having any money in the summer because he desperately wants it. Whereas Poch and Zidane, they're only going to take it if they've got 200 million to spend. And no matter how much I love Ollie, I know we do need to spend 200 million. So that's an interesting thing.
But if we could buy players we don't need to necessarily spend 200. Like, if you spent your money wisely, you could get some decent players. For example, if let's say Solskjær did have a blinder season, he didn't win us the Champions League, but he got us to the quarters or semis, and FA Cup he got us right near the end, and he fit us into the top 4 of the Premier League. Even that alone would be, let's give him the job, because before Mourinho got fired a week before, everyone wrote us off. We were never making top 4, but now we are sniffing. We are so close. Chelsea have only got to slip up a couple more games, and that's it. We're right back there. So top 4 now is closer than it's ever been, and I'm excited. And I think we're going to make it, to be fair. I think we're going to do it. But as I said, in the summer, you give Roma, I think it's at Roma, Manolas, you give him 35 mil, bang, you've got Manolas on your team. Now, if you was to get Koulibaly, that would cost you 70, but you've saved money. So now that extra 50 mil, 40 mil, you can buy yourself a nice right winger. You can, I don't know what right wingers we're after at the moment, but there's the hints of the pie, and we get first dibs at him, I think. That's what I heard, that the contract, we can go in for him first if we wanted to. We could probably get him quite cheap as well. If I'm still a bit unsure on him because he didn't work out the first time, but some people would want him back. And if you did, he'd only cost another 30 mil. So them two players there is 60, 70 mil in total. And you've got two nice new players to an extent. And Lindelof will just learn from Manolas. Yeah, we need the fitting right back to take over permanently at 19. I don't know. I'm still questioning that. And Luke Shaw, is he good enough? We do need to spend, but it's how much are the board going to spend, and can these other managers get the most out of him? Because so far, Solskjaer's actually doing a good job at getting a good work rate out of the players that were doing terrible under Mourinho.
Definitely. Thanks for calling, Jack. Great debut, and please call in again.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers,
no
pal.
worries, man. Take
care. You too, pal. And I think, you know, that is some. I suppose it's how you look at it. I'm playing. I got Football Manager for Christmas, so I haven't played a manager game in ages. I was doing my FIFA on That's Football again today, and people are like, "When are you going to stream Football Manager?" I will do it. I'm just getting used to the complexities of playing a Football Manager game, because the last one I played was probably Championship Manager '94. No, I have played others since then, but I used to play it a lot. But there is a point to this question, this statement, and that is that if you are a manager and you are Football Manager or whatever, and you have £150 million to spend, and like Jack says there, you're in the summer or you're in the January transfer window or whenever, and you've got £150 million to spend, and you want a midfielder, a right midfielder and a centre-back, right? Are you going to spend £100 million on Koulibaly and leave yourself £50 million for your midfielder and your right midfielder? Or are you going to spend £35 million on Manolas and leave yourself £115 million for your midfielder and your right midfielder? I'll tell you what, I know how good Manolas is, and I know how good Koulibaly is. And Koulibaly is better, but it's not a massive amount better. I would take Manolas and have a lot more to spend on my midfield and my right midfield. And that's real world. That's business. That's McDonald's manager. It's bloody HSBC manager. You are dealing with budgets, and Manolas may well be a better option, allowing us to look at others. However, if you're Pochettino and Zidane and you say, I'll take the job, but you've got to give me 300 million, you might just go, no, I'm going to get Koulibaly. All depends on the budgets. Philip Hillsland says, I think we should be getting a football director as a priority. Otherwise, we will rotate managers, players, and rely on Ed and his soccer advisors. Yeah, I think you're spot on. And I think from what we're hearing, we are going to get a director of football, aren't we? So that'll be very, very good. Watch Koulibaly then, mate. Then watch how well Cooley defends. Yeah, he's a good player. Minnie Mourner says, my problem with Zidane is that he left when his team needed a rebuild. Our team needs a rebuild. Poch has shown he can build a team on a small budget. Zidane hasn't proven he can. And how much more can you get out of Young, etc. Good point, Minnie. I do agree with the fears around Zidane, to be honest, that, you know, he'd come in and maybe only be here for 2 or 3 years. That to me isn't a massive problem, but to some it is. You know what? I actually can look at this very pragmatically. I hope that our next manager is either going to be Oli, Pochettino or Zidane. If it's one of those three, happy days. Get the Fonzie out, because I'm happy, if anyone knows what Happy Days and the Fonzie was. If it's Allegri or Simeone or something like that, I'm going to cry, because they're the wrong type of manager for this club. Wrong type of manager totally. So as long as it's Oli, Pochettino and Zidane, that's fine. But then I think that what you're looking at is this situation. Ori Langan says, would you sell Herrera, Mark? No, I would keep him for the moment until we get somebody better in. But I think you've got, in those three candidates, you've also got the three extremes of the spectrum. You've got the exciting unknown in Oli, who's got the links to the club and knows what the club's all about, but maybe doesn't have the experience to deal with the board because they might be able to bully him because he's so desperate for the job. You've got Pochettino, who knows how to develop players, who's experienced in the Premier League, who's achieved with very little spending, and is also got his own philosophy and probably would see Manchester United as the pinnacle of his career. And then you've got Zidane, who's basically the man who comes in, the world-class footballer, the brilliant achievement as a manager. You know, for me, undisputed, a decent coach, but he's only ever dealt with Real Madrid. And you've got three different types there. And I suppose when you've got three choices, from one extreme to the other, you probably always go with the one in the middle. And I think that's why a lot of people are going with Pochettino, because he's probably the safest bet out of those three, although Zidane could be immense and Oli could be historical. I think Pochettino is probably the safe pair of hands. Nicholas P says the Oli dilemma is pretty easy to solve. If he displays tactical knowledge to get past PSG and beyond, maybe the semi-final, then he deserves a chance. I agree, Nicholas. But I still would say Oli is going to beg to get this job. We're going to have to beg to get Pochettino and Zidane. And I think if I want to see our board beg, because if our board begs, the person who comes in is going to go, well, if you're begging me, I want 200 million. Whereas Ollie's going to beg to get the job, and they might go, you can have the job, but you're only getting 50 million in the summer. So you know what I mean? I want us to get everything we can get. But I do. Ollie is the dream. Liverpool currently taking a massive L. Well, didn't they bring somebody on called Hoover, so they were bound to suck. But I think they're losing 1-0. FA Cup draws coming up at about 9:30 tonight. A lot of people don't want a home game. I do. I want us to win the FA Cup, so I want as many home games as possible. And I don't want us to play anybody decent because we've already got a very, like I say, after Spurs, we've got a run of very winnable games. So I want that to continue. Anywho, let's take a call. Please do drop a like on the video for all our callers tonight. Really, really good calls, and want to get somebody else on. Chris, can you hear me? Hello, Chris, can you hear me?
Hello. Hello, Mark.
Yeah, I can hear you now. You were just a little bit quiet before. How you doing, pal? You all right?
Yeah, very well, thank you, Mark. Happy New Year to you, by the way.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you,
it's been
pal.
quite a while since that hefty donation came in.
Yeah. Well, it's you, is it? Well, thank you very much for all the contributions you've made over a long period of time towards the United stand. I really appreciate that.
The Champions League final, Real Madrid against Dortmund, I think. But anyways, to the subject at hand. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, mate. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah. So I realise it's going to be 20 years since Ole Solskjær has scored that last winner against. He scored the winner in 1999. It's going to be exactly almost 20 years.
It will be this summer, yeah.
I think it's going to take a miracle for that to be pulled off.
I detect. Where do you stand on Solskjær then? Do you think he should be our manager, or do you want more? I suppose a safer pair of hands.
I feel for him to take the manager position, he's going to have to work very hard with the squad he's got. I mean, this is from Mourinho's detriment.
You know what? I think that with this United, I mean, I don't know whether you saw the game at the weekend. I'm sure you did, against Reading. I mean, this is something we were talking about last night as well. That he is definitely working with an arm behind his back, because I think beyond his first 11, as we saw at the weekend, this squad is problematic, and I agree with you. I think it would be miraculous. I mean, what are your realistic expectations for United in the league and the Cup and the Champions League? Realistically, what do you predict will happen?
Realistically for this year, I'd say top 4 is very possible. We're 6 points or 5 points behind now.
Yeah,
and he's made a massive turnaround from when Mourinho got the sack. If he can pull that off again in the next 2 months, then we can really set in stone, maybe even top 2, top 3. That's the ambition. But I think the title is out of the race, for sure. It's still mathematically possible, but it's a long way to go.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. I mean, if we get top 4 though, what would it take for you to give Ollie the job?
That would be enough for me.
Yeah.
He's set in stone. He's got he knows United from the inside out. He's playing with the foundations. He's giving the youth a chance, and for me, from now on, he's got to build up the centre backs, get that right wing position opening.
Yeah, you know what? I think Solskjær is a bit like. I think so many United fans want Solskjær because he's like It's like, do you want Neymar up front or do you want Marcus Rashford? I mean, most Liverpool fans, probably not Liverpool, but City and Chelsea fans would say Neymar. A lot of United fans would say Rashford because they want somebody who's come through the youth. It's really important to us. And I think that's the dream with Solskjær, isn't it? Yeah, Zidane would be great, but Solskjær is one of our own.
It's like Neymar would be the creme de la creme, as you would say. And Marcus Rashford would be that cream on top of the pie. We can go out and buy the best, but we can create it ourselves.
Yeah,
and that sticks in the core of United.
Yeah, 100%, and I think it's really important we get back to that. Just finally, Chris, on the transfer window, what are your thoughts? Do you think we should be making signings? Or are you more patient, wait for the summer?
I feel we can get a short-term fix for the centre back position, but stick with the values of a young player, even paying over the odds for Koulibaly. Of course, he's not young, but somewhere close, and build a foundation for next season. Push for the title next year. That's the aim.
Yeah, no, don't disagree with that. Thanks for calling in, Chris, and thanks for everything you've done for the channel. And please do call in again.
Oh, thank you, Marcus, and Flex as well.
All right, mate. Cheers. Thanks for that.
All the best, boy.
You know what though? That's that last point. Sometimes you've got to wait, and you'll get an absolute gold nugget. And I think very obviously the whole conversation was good, but I loved that last bit from Chris. Go and get Koulibaly, pay over the odds if you need to, and build for next season. Why is nobody talking about that? Look at what Liverpool did with Van Dijk. They got him in January. He wasn't as good. He was good, but he wasn't as good as he is now. But he had 4 months at the club, and he got to know the club and bedded himself in. And then this season, he's been rock solid. And we did it with Vidic a few years ago. We brought him in the January, made a few mistakes, and then from the next season, he became bang on. Again, a very, very good point, because why is that not on the list as well? Why is nobody looking at that? Get these players in now, and they've got a free run until summer to get, you buy a player in the summer like Fred. If they don't have a good start, that can roll till Christmas, and it's a waste of time. Get them in January, get them bedded in. I agree, especially for a centre-back. Sharath Kamath Fitness says, Mark, can you get me in? I'm on Q2. I'll have a look if I can see you, pal. I can. There you go. Hello, can you hear me?
Hey Mark, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. You got to be good now. You demanded it on the live comments. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to talk about Oli for a moment.
Okay.
So my point is very simple. I think we just need to wait and give it time instead of just jumping into the conclusion, because we haven't yet faced big teams, but at the same time he has changed a lot. I just saw a picture on Instagram where he was sitting with Martial and Lingard and Rashford and talking. He was having a chat. So I think progress is being made. So we just need to wait. We might end up with a beautiful sweet fruit at the end. So maybe then we can decide, right? It is not a good thing to judge. We are not judging Oli, but we shouldn't be even discussing whether he should be getting a job, because he himself has said that United are looking for a permanent manager. So it's like I just believe that he won't get the job either way. Even if we maybe go to the semi-final of the Champions League or we finish top 4, he will be remembered for a long time. But people will remember him for a long time, and him being called a legend will always be the same, because he has proved again that he knows the club, and he literally got us out of the grave. We were literally dead. Our club was dead. We need to accept it. I hate to say that, but we were dead. My brother, he stopped watching United. Now he's watching it again, even though it's like at 1:30 at night here, right? So he's watching United games again. So what I would say is, Oli, let's just respect him, because I feel when we are talking about should he get the job or not, we are slightly disrespecting him as well, because he's not been here for even 1 month, right? So I think that is the thing with Oli. Anyway, about the transfers, right? I completely agree with you. I agree with the previous caller who said 150 million. Okay, you spend 35 on Manolas. Okay, you have remaining. Our main position should be midfielder and a right midfielder, because if you score 4 goals in a game, we won't lose. It's simple. We won't lose. And I do not think how Jose thinks. Jose always said that you need to build from the back. I do not believe like that. You need to, if you hold the ball, the other team doesn't have time to attack. Look, Man City, Laporte and Stones, I don't think they're great defenders. Okay, they play with the ball. I understand they're good with the ball, but they're not great defenders. Look at the goals they concede. They're not great defenders, but because of David Silva, De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, and Fernandinho, they're protected. They're well protected. It's like a condom. They're protected very well. Unlike us, we are not protected well. Though Matic has been really good, I always believed Matic was good. I knew that it was because of Jose. It's so simple. You just tell him, dude, don't keep the ball for more than 2 seconds. He will be like, okay, fine, I can do that, because Matic is a very good passer. He has a very good vision. He can pass forward quickly. But forget about Matic. Look at other players. Herrera. When United got Herrera, I was so happy, because he was such a young and like passionate footballer.
Creator as well,
But
wasn't
then it has gone.
he? Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
I was just saying he was
What are
he
you
was
saying?
very creative as well, wasn't he? But that
Yeah,
disappeared.
exactly. And when Bilbao beat United, remember that game?
Yeah.
The whole Athletic Bilbao team was like they're playing like Barcelona or something. So what I'm saying is, for Matic is fine for now, but come on, we need a defensive midfielder because otherwise Pogba will have to come back and play there.
Yeah, you're right.
So United, and also about the managers. How many managers have we had? Also, how many managers have we had before Alex Ferguson? Not many. United are not a club that likes to have a lot of managers, and all the players in the club in the past, they have stayed at the club for a long, long time. So, in terms of Marcus Rashford, he should be at the club. No, he should retire at the club
Yeah.
because he's good enough. Look at because he's playing a lot of games now. Look at how he's doing. We
Who would
can't
you
judge
have
a
as
player
manager?
like.
Who would you have as manager then?
Okay, yeah. Coming to that point. Now, see, Pochettino, I really like Pochettino. Now, the last caller spoke about being soft, right? I think Pochettino might be slightly soft. This is my opinion. I don't know what others think, but I feel he's slightly soft. When I remember Spurs losing to, I don't remember the match, but he didn't make substitutions when it was needed. He took like 10 minutes extra to make a substitution, and it was too late.
He does that a lot,
Right,
He does do that a lot.
Yeah, like I like Pochettino, but Zidane, I don't think Zidane should be here because I for some reason I believe he might end up like Jose because I know he's a great player and all that, but I don't think he plays that attacking football because I watched La Liga. I'm a huge Ronaldo fan, so now I don't watch it because I only watch Juventus now. But when I used to watch La Liga, his team was not like as entertaining as maybe say Barcelona.
Yeah.
So my at the end of the day, I just want to conclude. Sorry for taking so long. I just want to say that Ollie, let us just enjoy this. Like let us just enjoy this for a while, and at the end of the season, let the board decide because I think they've already decided. Like you said, transfers can't be made on the spot. You need to be deciding it for a long time. So I'm sure the club is going in search of the best person for the job, and I think nobody can fuck up again because United can't get as fucked up as how sorry for the word, but United can't get as fucked up as how Jose did it. It was the worst ever. Even Louis Van Gaal, at least Louis Van Gaal never like blamed the players as such. David Moyes, forget him. He's that's something
we don't need to mention
but,
him.
Yeah, but sorry, Mark, I'm taking a long time, but I don't think I'll ever again get a chance to be here. But I just want to say that let us enjoy it. There is a saying in Hindi in India, "Sabar ka pal meeta hota hai," which means you wait and you'll get a sweet fruit. You need to wait for it, right? So let us just wait. Maybe at the end of the season we might be like so happy, and let us just say, Oli won't be disappointed because he knew it. He accepted it, knowing that he'll go back.
Exactly.
Right? So yeah, thanks, Mark. Thanks a lot.
No worries.
Can I just shout out my channel? I'm just close to reaching 100K on my YouTube channel. So my channel name is Shreyas Kamath Fitness. I do fitness videos. So yeah, also some comedy videos as well. So if you guys are interested, please do subscribe. Thank you.
No worries. I'll have a look myself. I didn't know you did. Cheers, pal. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, Mark. Bye.
I'm just putting him out there. Okay. Well, Sharath is always in the live comments, and he makes a lot of contributions as well. So I didn't just see somebody say "get me on." There was a reason for that, and he's not been on before. So very, very good call as well. Sully BJ says Salah's crapped on Roma. Where was Manolas? Koulibaly for me. Well, you can't judge one player on game, surely. Molo Toy says I think Koulibaly has a higher ceiling for improvement than Manolas. He's been improving, maturing a lot in recent years, same as Van Dijk. Both 27. Sombiorus says what about the possibility of the board saying to the next manager we would like to keep Ole on the coaching team, maybe as an assistant to take over in a couple of years. Stranger things have happened, but I think Sharath is right. But let's not forget that when Ole Gunnar Solskjær came into the job, he was 11 points off top four. The club was in the grave, like Sharath says, and also I think he was just happy to take the job. I don't think there was any part of him that thought, I'm going to get the job. I think he would have thought, you know, what an opportunity. If I pull a miracle off, I'll get offered the job. But I don't think he came into the job expecting the job. And I think that's right. I don't think we need to feel sorry for him. I think he's enjoying it. He'll be enjoying the positivity. But I've said before, there's definitely going to be a bump in the road. We're not going to win every game between now and May. No chance. We're not good enough. We're not good enough. We won't. And that's not taking into account bad luck. So there will be bumps in the road. And I think a lot of people are right. Patience is the key. Enjoy it, but it's modern society, isn't it? That we can't. It's like, I was talking to an Arsenal fan at the weekend, and they were like, I get fed up of this constant modern phenomenon of talking about whether Liverpool are now the best team the Premier League's ever had, whether Man City were the best team last year. He said, Liverpool haven't even won the bloody title yet. It's only January, and people are saying, are they the best Premier League team ever? Last season they were doing it with Man City. It's a joke. The best two teams I've ever seen in the Premier League went head-to-head with each other in the late 90s. It was Liverpool and Arsenal. They didn't win loads of titles because one won one year and one won the other year. They won it in 98, we won it in 99. They're the best two teams I've seen. They were immense. Absolutely immense. And they were going head-to-head as well. Man City are fortunate that there's nobody really to touch them last year. As for Liverpool, best team ever. I wouldn't even have them in the top 10. And they've not even bloody won it yet. And that's no disrespect to Liverpool, but the modern phenomenon is, oh yeah, it's all about the now. And it's not about the now. There's been better strikers than there are now in the past. There's been better midfielders. The only two players that can hold a light to anybody in the last 30, 40, 50 years is Ronaldo and Messi. But we all want to believe, because we live in this time, that now is the time. And it's the same with Solskjær. You know, he's been here 4 games, he's won 4 games. Give him the manager's job, give him the job, he's the best thing ever. And actually, patience is a key. And the great thing about United is we've got an opportunity to be patient. Solskjaer's got no expectation at the moment. We shouldn't have one either. Let's see what happens. And Spurs is a massive game at the weekend, not only because they're above us, but also because Pochettino is a potential candidate. Sunday, I can't wait for the show next Monday, because if Ollie wins, you'll all be saying Ollie for the job, and if Ollie gets beat 4-0, you'll all be saying Poch for the job. And I probably will as well. Ollie Mills, do you think Andres Pereira may get sold with Nicola Barella coming in as his replacement in the squad? I like Pereira, but if you're offering me Barella, I'd go with Barella and stand under his umbrella. I think Pereira needs to go. I do think he needs to go. I don't see him getting, like Paul Robinson said last night, I don't see him getting the 10 games he needs to bed his confidence into the team. And I think a change for him with a buyback clause, maybe like Memphis, would be the best thing for United and the best thing for him. But whether we'll do it or not, I don't know. The reality is it's up to him. He's free to go. And we won't get a lot of money for him anyway. Gustavo Cortez has made a contribution. He says, is Jose Mourinho alive? Inter would be his ideal job. Apparently he's turned down Benfica. And my thoughts on that are I could not give a shit. Liverpool have apparently equalised. The treble is still on. But the FA Cup is straight after the Wolves versus Liverpool game. So there we go. Origi with a long-range strike. Probably was trying to pass it, to be honest. But anyway, absolutely love the show tonight. Please do smash a like on the video. It's our first call-in of the year. Couple of weeks off because of festive, but the regular shows are coming back now. So you'll have your call-in every Monday night at 8 o'clock. Flex and Rants back again tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Transfer Daily every morning at 7 a.m. And we've got the preview back on Thursday night. I think I've got Expressions, the Spurs fan, on Thursday night. That's going to be a good show if I can get a word in edgeways, but no, I like him. It'll be good. So lots and lots going on this week, and please do smash a like on the video. The most important video to like, really, because it's you, the United Stand community, getting your voice, which I absolutely love, and the fan cams as well. So really enjoyed the show. Some funny bits, some really good points. All our callers fantastic, and thanks everybody for watching, and I will speak to you all soon. Mancunian Red MUFC, we're not going to get Coutinho. Don't worry, you can all sleep easy. Thanks for watching. Discord's back in the house, and the link's in the video description. You can only get on the United Stand Discord if you go through our invite link, which is in the video description. So if you want to get on future shows, click that invite link, and on the next show I'll show you how it works, because I know if you've never used Discord you might be like, how the fuck does it work? It's brilliant. It's much better than the Skype system we used before. I'll talk you through on the show next time. But thanks for watching, everybody. I'll speak to you all soon.